Kathleen Kennedy, should she stay? Go? I personally really don't care. Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm Robert Storms, and once again want to thank everyone who subscribed to me recently. Went up a huge amount of subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I hope you guys continue to like the content I put out. Today I want to talk about the head of Lucasfilm, Miss Kathleen Kennedy. So here's the thing, guys. I watch a show called Collider Jedi Council. Christian Harloff went on this rant for the past month about how Kathleen Kennedy is the wrong person to be in charge of the creative team over at Lucasfilm. I, for one, personally really agree with him because just like Christian Harloff, I am a big, huge canon junkie. I read all the comics, I read all the novels, I watch the show, I play the games, and I think a lot of people who aren't invested in canon really don't care less. Like a lot of people who aren't invested in canon, when they played Battlefront 2, they just thought it was a very generic campaign. But if you read Inferno Squad and you played Battlefront 2, it just enhances your experience so much more. Now the thing is, when we get to the live action movies, there's nothing really from the canon that's being introduced into the movies with the exception of Rogue One. With Rogue One introducing the Ghost, Saul Guerrero, Chopper, General Zandula. Those were all little hidden Easter eggs. Besides Saul Guerrero, who was actually a character from the Clone Wars, all those were Easter eggs from the Rebels TV show. If you've never seen Rebels, then it's something just going to go over your head. But for the fan of Rebels, that was an amazing thing. And the problem is we're not getting more of that in the live action films. There's a bigger problem over at Lucasfilm, and it starts with this new trilogy. Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Episode 9. Let's talk about how Kathleen Kennedy never had a plan for this trilogy. You can say that George Lucas just kind of went movie to movie in the original trilogy, but if you go back and you listen to what George Lucas has to say, he had an overall story arc. He didn't know where everything was going to fall in. He didn't know that Luke and Leia were going to be brother and sister. He didn't know every little detail, but he had an idea of where he wanted to take things. Where Kathleen Kennedy comes in, like, JJ, you're going to do your movie, Episode 7, you and Lawrence Kasdan go figure it out. And then, meanwhile, while they're filming, Rian Johnson's writing the script for Episode 8, and now he kind of just took stuff that J.J. Abrams was setting up and kind of did his own thing with it. And now Colin Trevorrow got fired, so J.J. Abrams coming back to finish up the trilogy. And now he's making his script with Chris Terrio, and they're all just like kind of flying by the seat of their pants. Nobody has anything really set up that well. You can say what you want about the prequels, but George Lucas had a clear vision of where it's going to start and how is it going to end. And whether you like it or hate it, and maybe you think some of the dialogue and acting is just clunky and awful, George Lucas had an idea and a through line for that entire trilogy, where Kathleen Kennedy is just saying, you know, hey, we'll figure it out when we get to that episode. That's not how you do a trilogy. That's not how you do a trilogy. A trilogy is supposed to be a basic story that consists over 3 sets of films. And you have to have this stuff planned out. You have to know where this character is going to end up, where this character is going to end up. And I am a firm defender of both Force Awakens and Last Jedi. I think both films are fantastic. I love both Force Awakens and Last Jedi. I love those movies to death. I can't wait for Last Jedi to get released on Blu-ray so I can watch it again. I think it's a fantastic movie. But you can't sit there and argue where you know that they didn't have this stuff mapped out. They didn't. There was stuff that was introduced in Force Awakens that wasn't even touched upon in Last Jedi because they just didn't care. And the thing is, that's because they didn't have shit mapped out. They don't. Kathleen Kennedy is the wrong person to be running the creative team. If she wants to be a producer, like Christian Harloff said, if she wants to be a producer of Lucasfilm and she can produce all this shit, go produce your little ass off, okay? But you need to let someone like Dave Filoni, Pablo Hidalgo, let these guys that know Star Wars, because I guarantee you Kathleen Kennedy does not know Star Wars. I guarantee you, if I was in a room with Kathleen Kennedy and I mentioned some stuff that happens in canon, she wouldn't have no clue what the hell I'm talking about. And another firm point about this was the actor who plays General Hux was asked in an interview if he knew what his first name was, and he said no. His name was introduced in the Aftermath trilogy. Armitage Hux is General Hux's real name. His father was an Imperial that went to the unknown regions with his son to help develop the First Order. And the actor who played General Hux didn't know any of this. And he's like, I wish I would have known, because I would have played the character a little differently. But these are something that your creative team, Miss fucking Kathleen Kennedy, your big creative, is supposed to say, yes, this is you. Your name is Armitage. You went to the unknown region as a little boy. You're actually a bastard. Your mother and your father were not married. You know, that's something that your creative team should be aware of. Same thing with Last Jedi. Love Last Jedi. Laura Dern's character was nothing like Laura Dern's character was supposed to be in the novel. In the Leia novel, Laura Dern's character, Holder, was a much different character. She was very much like Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter. She had different colored hair, and she was all quirky and odd and stuff like that. She wasn't portrayed that way at all. In fact, they were on crate a couple times in the novel. Even the Phasma novel that I personally don't care about all that much, they don't mention in the movies about how Captain Phasma and Armitage Hux, you know, kind of teamed up and killed his father, the original General Hux. But the little things is what matters. And I think Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know much about Star Wars. I think she watches the movies, she probably likes them, but I don't think she knows the little gritty stuff that someone like Pablo Hidalgo, Dave Filoni knows about Star Wars. And if you're going to be in charge of creative, you need to know all this shit. You need to build a team that knows his shit. Okay? That's why Marvel Studios works, because Kevin Feige knows his shit. Kevin Feige can sit there and he can put little things in there that hardcore comic book fans would know, but if you aren't a hardcore comic book fan, you can still enjoy the movie because it's not really all that important. Star Wars needs to do that. There is so much stuff in the canon novels and in the comic books and in Rebels that can be utilized in the movies to make it a better experience. You know, just like DJ in Last Jedi. I actually really ended up liking that character a lot, but he could have easily been someone else. I mean, she's the one that came out and said, everything's canon. So if I'm taking the time to read each and every one of these books, and I'm spending the money to buy each and every one of these books, comics, I'm investing my time in Rebels, because you said it's canon. You need to make the shit canon. You need to make it canon, because we're investing our time in it. And I think if you have someone like Dave Filoni and Pablo Hidalgo in there explaining shit and maneuvering shit and getting with these directors and these actors and going, look, this, and this, check this, check that, and you guys will have everything good. That's what you need. Kathleen Kennedy, you stay in your fucking office, you sign your little fucking papers, and that's you go on your way. Let fucking Dave Filoni, Pablo Hidalgo do this shit, because they know. Go back and watch Rebels. This past episode of Rebels, fantastic. And the way Dave Filoni was able to connect the end of season 2 to this past episode and to make it work like it did, you're like, holy shit, man. Holy shit, bro. Like if you ever watch interviews with Dave Filoni, I've seen the man speak at Star Wars Celebration. This guy knows fucking Star Wars. Pablo Hidalgo knows fucking Star Wars. That is your creative team. Make a creative team. Let them be your creative team. Let them map out trilogies. You let them get with the directors, and together they map out where they want to go. And then you let them fill in all the geeky stuff. And Kathleen Kennedy, you just stay on the outside and sign your papers and look at your teleprompter when you're talking about Carrie Fisher. I really want to get you guys' input. I want to know what you guys think. Usually I'm on here and I'm talking about the DCU or MCU or some kind of video games. But I really want to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave your comments in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, as always, also, be sure you hit that subscribe button. Be sure you hit that subscribe. I'm almost at 4,000 subscribers, guys. I really want to hit that mark. But to do so, I need you guys' support. So, once again, guys, thank you for all your support. And until next time, guys, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.